So I found some bolts for the pulley. I just used some normal 13mm head M8 bolts. I cut them down with a hacksaw and put some washers on. I imagine they're stronger than the ones that come standard because the heads are really soft, that's why they round off. But we've also got a BMW fuel cooler to go on somewhere. Probably put that on last when the intercooler's on and the radiator. So I've just been looking at the Passat inlet. Well, this actually come off the Volkswagen Chiron. I was wondering why it was so clean. It's because the EGR is actually blocked. So that's nice. It means the inlet won't be full of shit like a lot of people. But yeah, I'll take this off. I'll probably put it on. It's easy enough to get on and off. Put a couple of bolts in it so we can just take it on and off easily, because then I can have a look at the intake pipe as well and probably shorten it. So yeah, all that's going to hold us up is a bit of gas for the TIG welder. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's here this week. Otherwise, it'll be 2 weeks I've been waiting for it, and they'll say it'll be a few days. I think I might have to change supplier if it happens. If that is the case, but we'll see what happens come Wednesday when they say it's coming. Yeah, probably get on eBay tonight and order power steering pipe. I haven't really looked at it yet, but I think it'll be a hard pipe that comes out of the rack here to a flexi or something. But if it is a hard pipe, I'll measure the diameter of it and I'll just get some compression hydraulic fittings on a piece of flexible pipe and do it the same on the pump end, which makes it really easy. That's what I've done on the 205. So the Peugeot end is Peugeot still on the rack, and then it joins with a compression fitting on a flexi that's then got a banjo fitting that fits on the power steering pump, which has already got a banjo bolt in it. It's already got, the pipe is somewhere, but that's already got a banjo on that. So I'll just measure that and message a couple of eBay suppliers, which is what I did before. I think the one on the 205 only cost me 13 quid, which I couldn't believe at the time. I thought it was going to be at least 60 or 70 quid. But if it's anything like that, it makes it super cheap. I think I waited about a week for it, but it's easy enough to put on when everything else is in anyway. So yeah, I'll take a look and go from there. So today painted the engine mounts. Was going to weld some tin in here, but I think it might have looked worse if I did, so I just went with what we've got. Just put some seam sealer over it and just painted it. Same that side. Should stop the rust. I mean, it's not perfect, but again, without making loads of work, it's already pretty strong as it is. So I just thought, just paint it, seam seal it and paint it. Drive shafts have gone to the machine shop to have some sleeves made, so we might get those back this week, which means we can take them to our welder mate and he can weld them up, and then they can be fitted as soon as the engine goes in. Toby had a spare traction bar, so we've test fitted that, and it just fits past these radiator tabs that I've put on. Might need to just grind them up a little bit, but that's pretty minor. so it'll have a traction bar on it as well, if it fits around the sump and stuff. I'm sure it will. Engine's pretty much ready to go back in. I've ground up this mount and painted it. Same paint, nothing fancy. Put the exhaust studs in the turbo, and I can actually get on all the bolts to be able to clock the turbo to wherever I want it. So I'll drop the engine back in, see where it wants to be, and then I should be able to tighten that up from underneath to wherever we want it. But I think somewhere there would be about right. I've got loads of room for an intake pipe, but in that sort of position it should leave the boost pipe in such a position for even a different turbo to come out in the same sort of place, and the intake pipe as well. So, but I won't know till I put it in. Yeah, I've looked on eBay. Power steering pipe should be about 25 quid. I'm just waiting to get an email back off someone. We only need a compression fitting for this end and then a banjo for the other end. Super simple. But yeah, probably put the engine back in the morning, which will be Wednesday morning. Gas was supposed to be coming Monday. When I rang on Monday they said Wednesday, so we'll see. If it's not coming tomorrow, then I think everything will be put on hold until the argon's delivered. So yeah, we've both got a week off next week, so we're hoping to get really stuck into it and get it not finished but closer to finished than this. I mean, at the minute it looks worse than it is. Once the engine goes back in, we can start final fitting stuff, and that's when we'll probably get a bit excited and want to stay late and stuff and get it finished. So yeah, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Hopefully we get some gas. If not, we just have to have a week off doing nothing. Probably just drive the 205 for a week. Might go and get it put on a dyno, see what power that makes, and then we can start maybe then taking it to bits again and changing the turbos again. But yeah, that's a whole other project. I've also got a supercharger to go on this, which is a spare, well, another engine that I've got for the Mini. So I've got a classic 998 Mini. This is a later engine, but I do need to pull the head off at some point, because this might already have low compression pistons, but it'd have to come off anyway to fit a decomp plate, and I've got a 1275 head that's been ported, so I'll put that on with a supercharger, and it should make anywhere around 70 to 80 horsepower, maybe even more with that head, but that's probably double what it is now, which would be massive. But that's a whole other project. I won't get into that. I can't use the Mini at the minute anyway because the clutch is gone, but I can't just put that engine in because there's a few little differences, and that uses a different clutch as well. But that's a completely different project, like I say. But I want to get this one finished so I can get the Mini in here and the 205. Get the 205 on the dyno, start pulling that to bits as well. Because as you've probably seen on my Instagram, it's going to be changed to a compound setup, which means a big turbo and a little turbo. But we'll see how that goes. That will be a lot of work just to make it all fit, I think. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just make stuff up as you go along. But yeah, we'll call this quits for now, I think. Hopefully the gas comes tomorrow. Yeah. If not, it's going to be pretty boring unless some suspension parts come. So we've got some rear arms to go on the back as well. I can probably fully fit the traction bar when the engine's back in, because then we'll know what other room we've got for stuff. But I can't even make the exhaust until gas has come for the welder either. I've got all the material and stuff other than the gas. So yeah, maybe order a rear quarter, because it's starting to go here where they all seem to go. Yeah, might order that, weld that in, but we might end up painting the car because it is pretty mint. Other than, well, the paint work's not mint, but the car is. It's pretty solid anyway. Just needs a pair of wings and that little bit of quarter welding in. And I'd say it is pretty mint, to be fair. But yeah. Yes, I look forward to doing a few shows in this, especially Japfest. That will be interesting, to say the least. But yeah, anyway, we'll see how tomorrow goes and go from there. So we just got here this morning. We've got some argon and some gas for the MIG as well, so we can get rid of the old fire extinguisher and actually use some proper CO2 mix. Not that it really matters, but running out of fire extinguishers, that's a problem. We don't want to have a fire extinguisher when we're welding in case we have a fire. So that won't be a problem now. So we'll get this back in now, and then we can start cracking on making boost pipes and everything else. Nice. The problem is the diff getting around the subframe just there. But it's in now. I think next time I'll try and lift it so it lifts pretty much at the angle it sits in the bay now. Never mind. They never come out the same anyway. Always takes a bit of fiddling to get it in and out. So, but yeah, I'll get the welder set up, get some washers on these mounts and whatever, get it finally bolted in, get the radiator back in, make these pipes, and then that'll be finished. Then the intercooler battery tray can go back in, probably temporary, so we can get the fuel filter housing positioned. Hopefully this will fit maybe somewhere here as well. But yeah, we'll keep nibbling away at it. Drive shafts will hopefully be done Friday. It's now Wednesday. well, the sleeves will be made Friday, hopefully. If they are made, then I'll run them over to our welder mate next week, and then as soon as they're done, we'll get some new CV boots on them, some fresh clips. We've got some new outer CVs to go on, and then we best start thinking about wiring, the bit that I hate. But yeah, we'll crack on. So I found some washers for this mount. Now me and Toby are both in agreement that washers are sided, so you can actually put them on upside down. I don't know if you agree, but for me they should always be with the chamfered edge facing up towards the nut. In reality I don't think it fucking matters, but yeah, that's how anal we are sometimes about some things. I think I might just leave this stud longer, just to annoy Toby as well. No other reason whatsoever. But yeah, nice. So although this was actually already pretty clean, I've had the put the blowtorch in it anyway, just clean the worst out, so the smoke that comes off it doesn't affect the shielding gas when I weld a piece of aluminium on here. So cause this will basically be a high flow inlet. We'll port these to match the head, and this will be ported to match the tube that will then go on. And then probably at some point the head will come off. I'll have a ported head put on as well. We'll probably dyno it with a turbo, one of the turbos that I've got, see what power it makes, and then take the head off, probably port it, and then maybe put it back on the dyno and see what difference it has made. If it actually plans out like, well, we can plan to do that, but whether we actually do that or not is a different story, but we'll see. But anyway, we'll get all the shitty horrible jobs out of the way first, like cleaning this inlet. I've just ordered some more aluminium tube for the intercooler pipes. Hopefully that's here before the end of the week. I've got some, well, enough to be getting on with anyway. But now this is in, even if we don't get the aluminium in time, we can still make the exhaust, because we've got 3 or 4 meters of stainless for that. So yeah, plenty to be doing yet. So we've cleaned the inlet as best I can. They're normally always full of shit anyway, so match this to the gasket as well, like I normally do. I think these inlets actually, if you want to get really technical about it, these actually flow better than the timing belt facing ones, because the ones that point the other way have got like a lug on the back where something bolts on, and it bulges right out into in here. So yeah, anyway, get this welded on, then I can get it fitted, then I can mount the intercooler and start making shit fit, basically. Yeah, I hate doing these because it's so dirty and horrible. It stinks. But I think Toby might be doing some powder coating at some point, so I might get all these boost pipes and everything else done. Then we can take a few bits off and see if we can get those powder coated as well, so everything's done properly then. So that's it. I'll just get the die grinder in there, blend all that in. That's ready to go on. Then we'll get the intercooler on. So I've cut the, this was a BMW radiator. I don't know what model, but I won it cheap on eBay with a couple of them. That's why we cut the bottom off, to make it fit how we needed it to. So anyway, I've cut the original BMW fittings off, top and bottom, and then I've just made a 90 which will fit on there. Then the existing Volkswagen top hose should fit straight onto that, and then this one I'll just angle it upwards slightly. I should be able to just get around there, and then we'll probably join together two rubber hoses with a piece of this in the middle, to make the bottom hose then fit. So super simple. I've done this before on the 205 as well. You get a really snug fit, and it's never ever leaked. So I'm not really worried about that at all, having a join. So yeah, I'll get these welded on now. So I've just got those welded on. Still a little bit warm. So once it's cooled down, I'll test fit it. I'm pretty confident it'll fit anyway. And then I'll get the fan back on, and then that is actually finished now, providing it fits. And then we'll get over here and get the intercooler hung somewhere, and then I can probably, it was a twin pass intercooler, so Toby's cut the end off that, so I have to take this plate out, probably block one of these up, or maybe both, depends how thick it is, because I might, in fact I'll probably measure that now. It's 3 inch. Well, I was thinking I could have cut a piece of 2.5 inch in half and just wrapped it over the end. I might be able to do that anyway if I can find some 3 inch. Toby might have a piece, because then I won't need to weld the end up. I can just then put a pipe straight into the top on both sides, so then it'll become a single pass. But I'll check the radiator fits first, and then we'll look at the intercooler. Everything seems to be going a bit slow today, but slowly but surely, I think. As long as we make progress, it doesn't really matter. So the radiator fits. The only thing I haven't checked is that this pipe here actually covers the fan. No, my luck, it probably won't, so I'll have to probably do it again, but I'll take it back out and try it again. So I've just cut the end off the top hose, warmed it up with a blow lamp. It's a nice and snug fit, so I'll just check to see if the fan fits. I don't think it will. So yeah, I've just took it back out, put the fan on. It's only loosely fitted, but looks like I'll have to do that again, because that top hose is not going to fit. I love doing shit twice anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, mint. That's better. I think it's that old saying, isn't it, of measure twice, cut once, whereas my method's normally cut 20 times, weld 3 times, cut it off again, and then fucking do it all again. But yeah, anyway, it's on. I don't get caught up on shit like that. Still gets done, doesn't it? So, whatever. Yeah, just need a small section rubber hose here. That's it. We'll get it in, see what it looks like. So there it is. It's in. That'll line up nicely just there. It's probably better this way anyway, to be fair. It means everything's a little bit lower. More room for boost pipes and stuff. So, not that the boost pipes are massive anyway. They're only 2.5 inch. Pretty tiny. Yeah, I'll whip that back out and I'll get the, I just remembered, need to put the traction bar on. So before that's all finally fixed, I'll put the traction bar back on. Yeah, nice. So I just took the radiator back out again before I finally fit it. Just put the traction bar on. Radiator clears it nicely, but the power steering pump's in the way, so I don't think we'll be running that unless we find a way of, well, we might cut these tabs off, make a bracket to lower it down, but then it'll be really low, so I think we just won't use it. Don't really need it anyway. It's just, I think Toby had a spare one, so we thought we'd put it on, but it's not really going to work, so we'll just leave it off, I think. But the inlet's on, all port matched nicely. So yeah, we'll keep jumping hurdles, I think.